on the one hand, the media indicts defendants plenty already. So when you're perp walked into the courtroom out the police car and you're put on that defense table, everybody thinks you're guilty. You're guilty as charged, motherfucker. So I have no problem balancing that out a little bit. So if I do feel like my commentary might be coming more on the defense side, all that really is doing is adding some leveling to the conversation. To your other question, if I thought a motherfucker was guilty as hell, I'd just keep it to myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to influence the case in that way, or what's the reason?
My interest is in pointing out to people some basics about how the criminal justice system works, that, you know, this is what's going to happen. And, you know, there are some, you know, just kind of explaining that. I don't really get anything out of basically just telling the world, yeah, this guy's guilty as fuck.
Right.
Day 2 of the Tory Lanez trial is underway. It started with Meg the Stallion testifying. I'm going to take you through what she testified about in the morning. We're currently on lunch break. She's going to come back and complete her testimony this afternoon. It started with questions about Tory Lanez. She testified that she knew him only for a short time leading up to this incident. They were friends. She was asked, were you intimate? She said yes. She was asked, were you exclusive? She said quite happily no. Then they asked her about her relationship with Kelsey. She said that she's known Kelsey since freshman year of college. How do you know her? How would you describe the relationship? I found her answer very interesting. She said, I quote, we did everything together. They asked her, hey, how do you feel about being here today? She was struggling through the testimony. I was a little surprised at her answer. She said, I don't feel good. I can't believe I have to come do this. Not really sounding like a victim to me. She's a strong black woman. That's the image that the jury, I think, would have gotten of her. And I expected her to say something more like, I'm here for justice. I'm here to tell my truth. That man shot me. They asked her about when they left the party and when Tory got there. So she explained that initially she had gotten there with a larger group of people. Then later she asked Tory to come. By the time Tory got there, it was a lot fewer people. And then towards the end of the night, they asked her who was left. And she said it was basically just me, Tory, and Kelsey. And then we got in the pool. Then she said that when they were in the pool, her wig started getting loose. It was coming off. She felt uncomfortable, so she wanted to leave. She told Kelsey. Her and Kelsey went to the driver and said, hey, we want to leave. And this brings up the first point of contention where, according to Meg, the driver said, I won't leave without Tory. Now, obviously, Tory's team says Meg said she won't leave without Tory. And then the person actually, the defense attorney asked, well, why didn't Tory want to leave? And everybody was waiting for the answer to that question because that's the whole Kylie Jenner angle. Unfortunately, defense objected. The judge said sustained. She didn't answer the question, why didn't Tory leave? The whole situation in the car. She testified that, hey, look, we all got in the car. I got out and arguments started to break out. Basically, Tory started the argument. I was shocked when she dropped and admitted that this argument started with Tory saying to Meg, hey, why are you snaking your friend like this? And basically revealing that he had hooked up with both of them, that they had been cheated on by him. And this sort of led into the whole big fight. At one point, she gets out of the car, but then she did get back in because they convinced her to get back in. And then we get to the shooting. And here, there was some shocking stuff. So here's some of the key stuff. One, Meg described that, hey, look, I got out of the car, I looked back over me, and then I saw Tory holding a gun, pointing it at me, and he shot me after he said, dance bitch. But then, this is the prosecution asking the questions, and even in the prosecution asking the questions, she said stuff that makes you scratch your head, which leads you to believe that what's going to happen under cross-examination. The prosecution asked her this, where was Kelsey when Tory was doing the shooting? You know what Meg said? Meg said, I didn't see Kelsey. I only saw Tory. Question, was she in your field of vision? Because I mean, she's right there. Where was she? If you can't answer that question, that doesn't seem like it adds up, especially not in a case where the theory from the other side is that there was a struggle and that Kelsey was the one who let off the gun. If the victim can't tell you where Kelsey is, that seems highly problematic to me. The other parts of the testimony that were a little bit confusing is they asked her, you know, where was Tory? Was he standing on the car? Was he standing on the ground? And she said, well, he was shooting up over the window, but I don't know if he was standing on something. And they asked her, how tall is he? She said, oh, I think he's like 5'3" or 5'4". He's taller than that, but that's not tall enough to shoot over the window of an Escalade while standing on the ground. And then they asked her, hey, was he on the passenger door, or was he on the front door or the back door? That's what she said. He's on the passenger side. And they were like, all right, well, was it the front door or the back door? She said, oh, I don't. The other part of her testimony that I found a little confusing, and it didn't mesh with what the prosecutor said in his opening. The prosecutor said in his opening that Kelsey went to where Meg was, and that after Kelsey went to where Meg was, after Meg had been shot, that Tory was approaching them. Meg's testimony today was different. Meg's testimony was not that she got shot, she went away, and then Kelsey went to where she was, and then Tory came at the two of them. No, Meg's testimony is she got shot, she went away, and then she saw Kelsey and Tory both coming to them. Again, does not add up. We finished with, why did you not tell the police the truth? And this was very interesting, whereas typically prosecutors are in the business of supporting police officers. Here, they elicited testimony where Meg said, look, I didn't tell the police the truth because this was around the time George Floyd had been shot, and I thought if I told them the truth, they were going to shoot Tory. I didn't feel safe with the police. And I thought this was kind of weird, but she said it. She said, I'm a member of the Black community, and in my community, we don't cooperate. What do I think? I think that the rest of the direct testimony is going to come out. It will be interesting. I think the defense attorney has a lot of room. Hey, what's up, bro? I think the defense attorney has a lot of room to poke holes in the story. And I think the rest of the witnesses are going to say things that the defense attorney is going to have to show that it doesn't all add up. That if Kelsey was right there, how is Meg Thee Stallion going and telling you that when I turned around and I saw Tory shot me, I have no idea where Kelsey was?
This guy was extremely biased in the way in which he gave commentary on this case. He made 3 statements in this video that I want to go over. I'm going to go over it in 3-2-1 fashion and form. The last one that I'm going to get to is going to show that he's a bit racist and anti-black woman. So the first point I'm going to start off with is the last point that he made, in which she said, I'm a member of the Black community and we don't call the police. That is actually correct. I, as a Black woman, as well as other Black women that I know, we've been conditioned not to call the police, even when it's to our disadvantage, because we are told that if that white man shows up and kills them, that is on you, that is your fault. And this way of thinking and conditioning goes back to the 60s and 50s, and you can almost say up until the police was formed. That is correct. The second problematic statement that he made was Megan Thee Stallion couldn't tell the jury where Kelsey was at the time of the shooting. The reason why that's problematic is because if you're being shot at, how can you know where other people are if your focus and attention is on the person that is shooting you? Remember, this is a traumatizing situation. She's the person that's being hurt. So her not being able to say where everybody was standing, that's not out of the norm, because once again, she's the victim. And for the last problematic statement that he made, and this was extremely problematic and rooted in racism, an anti-black woman, was his statement about her not being a strong Black woman. He said that when she got on the stand, she seemed scared. She didn't come across as a strong Black woman. She didn't come across as a strong Black woman because she seemed scared. Black women have had this negative trope on us since the moment we were in slavery. To hear that a woman was shot multiple times and she finally gets on the stand to share her story and she comes across scared and she is labeled as not being a strong Black woman by a non-Black person, this was extremely problematic and disrespectful and extremely racist. This lady is scared because she's been harassed and stalked and hounded by everyone, but especially the Black community, because she was going up against a little short Black man. Of course she is scared. She said on the stand that this was a boys' club industry and she feared that she would not be able to work again. But you know what? Her fear, her being scared, her being shocked wasn't sufficient for this guy, because he doesn't believe that Black women are fearful, we get scared, or that we should ever be treated like the victims. That is what she was. Megan Thee Stallion was a victim that night. And for 2 years, she had been harassed, stalked, called many names, many names. She had been ruthlessly attacked. And the moment this trial began, she had people like you coming to her trial to defame and to cause doubt on her story. Of course she was scared. She has no reason to be that strong black woman that you want her to be, so you can say that Tory Lanez doesn't need to go to jail. It is very clear and obvious that this guy was biased, he was clout chasing, and he really did not care for the truth. He wanted Tory to go home free, and he wanted to be able to make a name on his trial. I will never follow this guy. And I hope that he is not able to make it in this industry, specifically working with rappers. We're about to change our community around, and we're going to definitely be holding everybody accountable.
I don't think the jury is able to rectify or see a sequence of events where the shooting starts with the woman and puts something other than an intent on the part of the man to take out and shoot against a woman. And I think that's what this trial came down to. Prayers to Tory's family. I saw reasonable doubt in that trial. The jury, did they get it right? Did they get it wrong? They reached a verdict, and that's what verdicts are. It's really not about right or wrong.
No, Gangat, the jury got it right. Prayers to Meg. Now go home to your strong white woman and leave the black community alone. Stop clout chasing.